Welcome back to the Shop Mini RC, everybody. I'm Ken, and today we are looking at the Ripper from Mias, but more specifically, this guy here from Furitek. This is the new integrated Python Pro ESC with receiver. Now they're calling this guy the Kosmik, and I'm excited to dive into this because it's going to be a huge space saver for something like this. Let's get in it. Alright guys, before we get started on this thing, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification bell. Do all those things you do on videos you enjoy and channels you want to support. It helps us a ton. We're going to dive into this guy right now. So this is the new Kosmik is what they're calling it. And it basically will bind with any of the FCX 24, 18, or the Hobby Plus, or the Furitek FX 118 transmitters. So kind of any of those Flysky transmitters that come with all those different brands, they should be able to pair up with this guy no problem. They're also going to be working on a couple other transmitter receivers so that hopefully we have some options on what transmitter we can use. But look at this guy, all in a single unit. We're going to pull out the Python Pro that's in there and the receiver, and we'll show you the size difference. But yes, this is a Python Pro essentially. Pretty slick. Now, if you don't know about the Python Pro, it's one of the best, if not the best, high-end ESC out there for the microcrawlers. I mean, this guy can practically run two 1/10 scale servos. It's got a BEC that goes from 5.5 to 7.4 up to 8.4 volts, all changeable on the fly through the app. And it's at 5 amps, guys, 5 amps. It's 2S and 4S, well, 2S, 3S, and 4S compatible or capable. You just have to have a 4S motor, I suppose. And then it's got a constant current of 40 amps and a burst current of 70 amps. Another thing that's really cool about this guy is it's got a physical switch, which, I mean, that's not what's really cool. What's really cool is you can remove the physical switch if you want. So one of the problems that I have with a lot of ESCs is it's like a push button. Actually, the Python or the Lizard Ultimate was a push button ESC. Hold on. This guy right here, where you have to push the button to turn it on, which meant you always had to mount it somewhere where you had access to the ESC because you'd have to be able to turn it on, which is very annoying when you have a very tight, small build and you're trying to tuck all your electronics away. So you tuck it up under the hood or inside of a housing somewhere, and you have to be able to turn it on and off. Bad news. And you can't set this in the app to be always on. Usually I just like to have my ESC always on. The switch is always on, and you just plug in the battery and unplug the battery to turn it on and off. But with this, you can't do that. So one of probably the only downside to the Lizard Ultimate, in my opinion, because I love this guy. This guy is tiny, tiny. But it's actually, this integrated ESC, the Kosmik, is almost the same damn size. How crazy is that? It's just a little longer. I mean, obviously, because you've got these plugs. You need all these plugs. It's about the same width, minus these little parts that stick out on the front and back. And then the thickness, it's just a little thicker on the Kosmik. But yeah, that's the Lizard Ultimate. This guy is tiny. We'll get the Python Pro out of here and show you that as well. But this guy, like I was saying, if you unplug the switch, it's always on. So you can either use a switch if you'd like, and it's nice that it's a plug, so you can, a wired switch more specifically, because you'll be able to stick it in there and put this switch anywhere you want if you wanted to put it somewhere. And if you don't want that switch, you just unplug it, and now you're always on, so you can just use your battery. Pretty freaking sweet. We also have some different adapters. There's the T-word adapter. There's also a red JST. You've got your plugs right here, so you can do your red JST, which is what we like to use, typically speaking. And then we've got our motor wire. Actually, is this motor? No, this is battery. Oh, so yeah, you have all three. Holy heck. We thought maybe Furitek sent us all three just because they had sent this for us to look at and wanted to make sure we had the right plug. But after looking on the website, it comes with all three plug adapters. So that's pretty sweet. You've got your SCX24 battery, your TRX4M battery, and then your red JST battery if that's what you choose to use. So that's pretty sweet. So you get some extra adapters there. And then we got our servo plugs here. And these guys will be able to just go in for our channel 1, our channel 3, and our channel 4. What's nice about this is they're not built in, right? So you can use these small plugs if you'd prefer to be super streamlined. We use this size in our Mini Zs. So we have a lot of those kind of plugs and whatnot. Basically, it's the 2-pin JST-PH size. But then this is the regular servo power or servo cable. I think they call these, what are they called? Totally spacing out. I don't know. I can't remember. Put down in the comments below what these plugs are technically called. It's like a Futaba plug or I can't remember. Anyway, you're able to use your plug adapters here, so you can do just your channel 1 if you're just going to have a steering servo, or you can do all 3 if you're going to have all 3 servos running, basically a winch, a 4-wheel steer, stuff like that. All right. So let's go ahead and get this Python Pro out of here. I'm going to pull off this panel so you can kind of see what's going on in there, and we'll see how much room we can save. Should be pretty good.
A few moments later.
Bam. Now you can see what we got going on in there. We've got one of the, I guess it's an Evo, Furitek Evo receivers, basically for the same remote. So we're going to be using our same remote to bind to the 2-in-1. But yeah, this should go well in this guy. It's very tight in here, but I don't like how this receiver kind of hangs out or skid a little bit. So we're going to pop this guy out. See if I can get this out of here. Maintain some of our sticky tape in there, so we don't have to use new sticky tape. I think we even trimmed this receiver to make it fit, to be honest. Yeah, we did. You can check out our build video on this guy. We have a full build video showing everything on this being built. We'll put it right over here if you want to check that out. All right. So there's all of our plugs. We can snag all these out of here. Now, it is kind of annoying that we have to use these adapters a little bit because they do kind of take up some space, but at least they can be moved around to somewhere different. And again, if we really wanted to, we could swap these plugs over to these little tiny guys here and save a ton of room. And these are the 2-pin JST-PH plugs, so you'll be able to find them on Amazon or wherever else, and you could actually redo your electronics so that they're all that. And it's what we use on our Mini Zs. Yeah, so you can see here we had to kind of shave away and trim this to get it to sit flat. Hoping this guy will fit in there pretty much the same. We'll see. All right, there's our Python Pro. You can see they're very, very close to the same size. Basically the same width with the exception of these little protruding portions here. Kind of wonder why those are there. I kind of wish they weren't. I guess that's how the case is being held together. Definitely would have been nice to not have those protrusions. But still, remember, this is taking this plus this and putting it all into one. So we're definitely saving space. The length is basically the same on the Python Pro and the Kosmik. Same length, so that's pretty sweet. And then the height is pretty much the exact same as well. So the exact measurements of this guy are 38 millimeters by 22 millimeters by 15 millimeters. Let's just go ahead and verify that this width of 22 is including that. Yeah, so we're like 22 and a quarter. And the height is 13. They said 15. I guess that's going to include the plug, but without the plugs, that actual box size is right at 13 and a half. So that's good. And then we are at 37 and a quarter. So it's a little bit smaller than what they state on the website. So that's nice. You compare that to this guy. We're at 19 by 14 by 37. So yeah, It's basically the exact same size if you didn't have these protrusions on the side, these two little bumps. All right, let's see if we can get this guy to fit. Hopefully those two bumps don't really hinder us, I hope. Actually, what batteries was I using in here? I was actually using the standard SCX battery, so we'll pull this red guy out. And we were using all of the plugs. All right, now, most important, obviously, is going to be getting this guy to sit in there nicely. Actually, where's our motor plug? We can put that in later. So let's see, does it fit down in there, right between the transmission and the chassis? Oh, it's tight. Oh, it's tight. Oh, it fits. You just got to have the little protruding hump kind of in front. I don't know if you can see in there. Your protruding hump needs to be slightly in front of the transmission. But then it fits in there pretty much. Oh, it does need to be raised up a little bit. You can see we're not getting totally flush. Let's see, move it up maybe. Yeah, part of the issue is the link in the back right here. I don't know if you can see it. But our link right here, link mount, is hitting on our little protruding hump, unfortunately. Let's see, maybe if I can slide this guy forward a little. Damn. Very close, though. Very, very close. Don't forget, we're using a skid that pushes up into the chassis. So if you were using a normal TRX4M skid, that link would be flush with the bottom here, and you wouldn't have any issues. It would fit perfect. Not that this isn't fitting very well, because this still fits very, very well. So I'm very happy with that. But if you were using the normal skid, you wouldn't be hitting at all on that link mount, because that link mount would be down here, down underneath here, versus up inside. All right, let me get this guy mounted in here, and we'll get her plugged in. So we're using our double-sided red clear sticky tape stuff. Go ahead and trim this to size, though. And go ahead and drop this guy in there. Just like so. Yeah, even on the front here. I don't know if you can see that very well. But because that link is sitting up higher with our custom skid plate here, definitely is making it tighter in there. But again, as you can see, it's fitting just fine. It would just fit even better on a standard SCI or TRX skid. All right, so we should be good there. Go ahead and get our motor plugged in. Where'd our motor wire go? Here we go. Bam. Perfect. And now we'll go ahead and get our servos all plugged in.
More moments later.
So we got our servo plugged in. We got our lights plugged in. I'm plugging in this last light. And for some reason, it didn't want to go in. And I realized that our plug here is perfectly square. These plugs here, the male ends, these are technically males because the actual pin is a male pin, and these pins here are female pins. Even though this goes into the casing, you go by the pin. So this is a male pin, this is a female pin. Anyway, this female side is perfectly square, whereas this side, the casing has little notches here, so they're kind of angled. So to show, so you know which direction they go. So depending on what kind of servo plug you have, you might have to trim this down. We're just going to take an X-Acto and skim it off so it rounds it a little bit. There are also some plug-ins that have the kind of little notch there. You would have to trim that notch off to get it to fit in here. Not a big deal though, so we're going to go ahead and do it. Just know which direction it's supposed to go. The rounded side is the side without the exposed pin. So round the top, I guess, and then it'll slide right in. Ta-da! And there we go, all installed. Got our cables wound up a little bit. Got it looking nice and clean in there. Our battery is going to go on this side, as it always kind of has. And yeah, another thing that's nice is you can use this plug, and if you need the extra extension, you just use it as an extension, and then you can use your Traxxas plug on there as well. So I definitely dig that they include the extra plugs for sure. It's always nice to have these kind of adapters and whatnot. So big kudos to that. And then, yeah, we're good to go. So let's go ahead and bind it. Binding these is also awesome. I love being able to bind from the radio and not have to do anything with the receiver. I hate it when you have to use like these little jumpers or whatever, and you got to get in there. And if your receiver is installed somewhere that's hard to get to, using a jumper is just a real pain in the butt. Same even with just a button. Like, well, let's say the button was on the inside here, on this side. Like, I would have to try to somehow get it or move it or bind it before, or even if it was like up in the front here. Oh man, that'd be such a pain in the middle. Like, say it's opposite this, right? Well, that's where my transmission is. So how the heck am I supposed to hit that bind button? So I love the Flysky, these Flysky remotes and receivers, because it's literally as simple as this. Hold your bind button, turn it on. You're in blinky mode, plug in your receiver or ESC. It doesn't seem like it bound, but it did because you reset, turn it back on, and look at that. You're good to go. Simple as that, guys. Super, super simple. Again, one of the things I love about these basic box stock remotes, I mean, even some of the high-end transmitters that are just, $600-700 transmitters and micro receivers, you still have to use a bind plug. Like, how archaic is that? Like, and if I use one remote, like especially a box stock that doesn't have models on it, and I just want to bind it to another truck, it's a real pain if I have to do that. But now with these, I can literally go grab my LC80, grab it off the shelf, turn this off, hold the bind button, turn it back on, turn on my LC80, and I'm good to go. Maybe adjust my trims or whatever, but like overall, we are good to go. So I definitely like these remotes just to be able to jump between trucks and whatnot for a box stock remote. Again, it's not a $500 remote or even a $100 remote with models in it, but it's almost easier than some of them with models if you're trying to bind new stuff together. It's just super simple. Anyway, back to this. Pretty sweet. Something I forgot to mention is the weight. It's 0.2 ounces, which is 5.7 grams. So not super heavy or anything, but it's all a milled aluminum, just like the Pro was. So definitely has a little bit of weight there. But again, we're low, we're forward, and it looks good. It's amazing. It's also waterproof, guys. So waterproof, dust proof. It's got current protection, real-time telemetry up to 10 hertz. Obviously, the app is super easy to use. You should definitely check that out over here. I've got a video on all the app settings. That's something we're going to do here is go through and set up our endpoints, essentially. So I'll get the app out here and we'll go through just very simply the app. So if it's your first time with one of these guys, we'll show you just the basics on how to calibrate your throttle stick here through the app. But for everything else deeper, definitely check out that video we pointed to. I mean, we're already good here so far, but we still want to probably set our configuration there, or calibration, excuse me. All right, let me get the app and we'll do that. So one of the first things you need to make sure you do is have the Furicar app. If you've already got it on your phone, make sure you check to make sure there's no new updates, because sometimes there's updates on the Furicar app itself. Then we can see our car here. We can go ahead and click on that. It should be working here. There you go. You can click on settings over here. You can update your firmware if you want to check to make sure there's no new firmware updates, depending on when you watch this video. It's pretty simple. You just choose your firmware and hit update. We are on the most recent firmware, 1.11. That's how they do their firmwares. It's 1.1, 1.2, all the way up to 1.11. It's not 1.11 and then 1.2 is higher than 1.11. 1.11 is 1.11. Okay, you can set your crawler type, your car type, your brushless or brushed. If you want to brushed, we're going to change our motor over to the cedar because we are running the cedar here. Please update the latest firmware to use a cedar motor. So let's check that. I don't know why it's telling us to do that. Oh, I guess we weren't update. I thought we were up to date. Excuse me. So we'll just update it real quick. All right. Now we're all updated. We're going to have to reconnect. And we should be good to go. Check the update firmware. Now we are on 1.11. And now that we're all up to date, we should be able to go in there and go to Cedar. Awesome. And of course, we're a crawler. If you change it to Monster Truck, it changes a bunch of settings. You can do your telemetry here, so you can see your throttle telemetry and all that stuff live. It's actually set to reverse. Interesting. So that's part of why we're going to calibrate here. Forward, reverse, voltage output, all that good stuff is in here. And again, I go through that in the other video. But here's what we need to do. Every time you do a new ESC with a new transmitter, you need to calibrate it. I like to put my truck upside down just in case something goes wrong. It doesn't fly off the table. But basically, we're going to go ahead and hit calibrate. I'm going to say yes. It's going to ask us to do a 0, which is our neutral. You can see we're at -3 up there. And then we're going to set our max speed. So we'll give it full throttle. You can see it's reversed. It's saying it's -100. So we'll go ahead and do that. Now it's going to know that that's forward, and then we can do our max brake or reverse. So we'll hit max reverse on our transmitter, say OK, let go, save yes. And now we have it set to 0. That means it knows our 0 point. It also knows our forward and our reverse. Okay, we might need to reset. Let's go ahead and do that. There we go. Yeah, sometimes you do have to unplug it, plug it back in for that to take effect. I don't know why. It's very rare. That's only like the second time I've ever had to do that. So I don't know if there's something going on there, but now we're good to go. Okay. But most importantly, this sets your 0. It also sets your forward and your reverse and your max forward 100%, your max reverse 100%, right? And you can change all your settings in there. And then also, while we're in here, you can do your throttle curve where you can actually set that forward and reverse, or you can set them to the same. And then there's battery settings for calibrating your battery. All right. So that's the basics. Again, we go much deeper in the link over there, but that's it. All right. So overall, my thoughts on this guy. I mean, it's the exact same as the Python, so we're not going to do any running or anything like that because you can probably check out our other Python videos where we're running this. Actually, the video for this has a lot of running footage using that guy. It's a very good ESC, super smooth, tons of power. Again, no issues with the ESC. That receiver is basically one of these, which also we were using in here, but now they're just smashed together into one nice little compact unit. Okay, look at that. I mean, that's an in-runner. That's a Cedar motor, so that's an in-runner. It's amazing. Oh, look at that. I thought this guy was hanging. I wonder why we need to vent these. I don't think they're vented very well. Anyway, super smooth transition. It's got FOC, which is field-oriented control. Again, 4 channels, so super sweet that it's a 4-channel built into there. Again, just an awesome all-in-one little setup. And like I said, hopefully they come out with new transmitters to bind, that you can bind with. They'll be different, obviously, because they use different protocols, but very, very cool, super efficient in space and all that. The only benefit to not doing a 2-in-1 is if something goes wrong. If your ESC fries or your receiver fries, you kind of lose both here, which is unfortunate, but I'm sure Furitek would take care of you. They have been very good with all their customer service, and I've never really had an issue with any of their ESCs or receivers, so I doubt this would have that as well. But that is one thing. Or if you were to change transmitters, you can't do that. But again, for what this is meant for and who it's meant for, this thing is freaking awesome. Again, 2-in-1, super space saving, super clean, all waterproof. Freaking love it. And my main thing is that it's just really awesome to see the different options that they're coming out with. And whenever they do something like this, it just improves their next product and their next technology. So someday we'll probably get one super, super small 2-in-1. Again, the problem always comes down to getting your plugs plugged in. But I think this is an elegant solution for how small this is. And again, if this is the first step towards something half this size, imagine if the next iteration was literally half this size. And it was an ESC and receiver. And it was this ESC architecture with the amperage and voltage and all the stuff that it has. I mean, that'll just be amazing. So again, it's a good step forward. It's their first integrated 2-in-1. So, I mean, talk about knocking it out of the park for your first 2-in-1 little combo ESC receiver. Super sick, guys. And hopefully the price, right now it's like $135, I believe, but $139. But over time, it will probably get lower as they reiterate on this and make other ones and whatnot. I mean, years down the line, obviously, but for now, this is definitely the most premium 2-in-1 brushless ESC you can get. ESC and receiver combo you can get for these mini guys. So pretty sweet. All right, guys, I think we're done. If you got any questions, be sure to put them down in the comments below. Let me know you watched the whole video by putting Furitek knocked it out of this world with the Kosmik. Kosmik? Yeah, out of this world. Get it out of the world. Or the Kosmik is out of this world. Either one. Put it down there. Kosmik out of this world. Whatever. And we'll see you guys next time. Make sure you get out there, build something awesome. Build a car, build a course, build a community. All those things are super important. And then smash it, crash it, and bash it, but don't break the expensive parts. Peace. If you're still here creeping, I just want to show it with the interior, with your interior, and we have tons of space in there. Look at that. Tons of extra room. So definitely compact. Even our adapters and whatnot, they don't take up much space in there at all. I'm digging this thing. Super slick for a 2-in-1. Again, I haven't seen a better, nicer, more quality, more feature-packed 2-in-1 from any of the other little brushless 2-in-1s that are out there. Most of them aren't even, I mean, most of them are for ready to runs, I guess, but this is definitely a good option for whether it's, you know, you're a basic and you're just trying to go to brushless, or if you're trying to do like a comp crawler, this might be worth it. Especially if you've got the option you want for your remote. If when they come out, if they come out with the Noble or the Sanwa or the Futaba or the GT5, any of those, you know, it could be perfect for those guys that want those 2-in-1, space saving, quality, Python Pro basically. And 4-channel, again, so you can run lights and a winch and 4-wheel steer and all that good stuff. Alrighty, bye.